Could you?
Welcome back to the Christmas Average. My name is Adam Busak, coming at you live from sunny Denver, Colorado. It's 80 degrees outside. John Lieber, it is 25 and snowing in the Antarctic Circle, where he is joining us from today. And straight from Santa's workshop himself, John Sansoni, the happiest of the elves. How are we doing today, gentlemen?
I'm good. I'm good. You know, got a little bit of break in between making the gifts. The toys are coming along really well this year. I think the kids are going to be pretty happy. We've got the process down to a science. They don't let me on the show floor that often on account of my being on the taller end for elves. But
that is true.
You know,
I can confirm.
I do get the chance to get down there every once in a while. But I'd say we're in for a good one this year.
We're in for a good one. John, how are those snow totals looking on your end?
It's snowing.
He looked out the window and he saw snow.
Awesome.
There's snow. I live on the third floor of the I live on the third floor of the Antarctic building because there's only one, and there's snow that I can see.
There we go. You know what? This is boots on the ground reporting. Actually,
yeah.
Boots on the third floor reporting, but in theory, it would be boots on the ground.
I really hope we don't put boots on the ground, man. That would really mess up the holidays.
So this is a Major League Baseball show, and I guess we have to talk about Major League Baseball at some point.
Yeah, let's get into some Major League Baseball. A lot has happened. I explained it. As you know, all of us went to Mizzou or currently go to Mizzou. John currently goes to Mizzou. You graduated what, next year?
Yes, next spring of 2027.
All right. So John graduates in a year and a half. Adam graduated
a year ago.
I graduated half a year ago. I explained this past weekend for me in a singular text. The Bears beat the Packers. It's the greatest day of my life. Caitlin Fee is back in the group chat, and I thought she was dead for years.
Do you know where he's going with this? I don't know where he's going with this.
The White Sox are Asian, and the Mizzou Tigers signed an offensive coordinator. Although all of that was undone because the Mizzou Tigers are the worst basketball team on the planet.
So let's take a step back. You can't. Would you?
Yeah, Caitlin Fee's not dead.
Yes, that one's arguably more shocking. That one's even more shocking.
Okay, so I thought that the White Sox would ever be in play for a player of Asian descent, Shohei Ohtani. Rob Refsnyder.
And John McGreen, a third Asian baseball player.
Munetaka Murakami. Tatsui or Tetsuya Mai?
Tetsuya Imai.
Thank you. None of them. Shintaro Fujiyama, and he has not been good in years, or good ever. Like, I never thought it was possible. And I wake up Sunday morning. Was it yesterday? Sunday. And the White Sox have signed Munetaka Murakami.
After, by the way, one of the craziest, I think, international free agent sagas that we've seen in a little while. Because it seemed like when he first got posted that he was like, the promise was this is Japan's next big slugger, right? Like this is somebody.
Dude, he's literally
40+ home run pop, right? And there somehow a market just never materialized around him.
He's literally called Japanese Babe Ruth.
I think that was Shohei Ohtani.
No, they for some reason they call Murakami Japanese Babe Ruth.
Yeah, he had a really, 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 really public eye going up to his posting, up to him being posted, and then he got posted, and then you heard nothing.
Nothing.
Well, I think what happened
for a long time.
I think what happened. So today is what. I don't know. Remember what the day length is. Today was the last day. He had to sign a contract in the MLB by today, or he'd be back in the in Japan next year. So he signed yesterday, right? Or it was announced yesterday. I don't know when he technically signed. What I've understood it as is that he was very well talked about. The WBC obviously helped to a point that he became overrated in a lot of people's eyes. And then everybody went, maybe he's just not that good, to the point where he was then underrated by people because it like flipped back on the other side of the spectrum. And I think it's somewhere in the middle. Like, the dude's going to strike out 25% of the time.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's the big knock on him, and H, maybe you can speak to this a little bit better than I can, but I mean, kind of the big knock on him coming over was he's swinging and missing 40% of the time, and that's just not sustainable. And it's important to keep a hold a grain of salt, because I think by and large the baseball world maybe still has not quite caught on to just how high caliber of baseball the Japanese pro league is. Because if you remember, even just 5-10 years ago when Ohtani was coming over, people were saying that he's, profiles as a high school caliber hitter. And there was thought that he would be a pitcher only within 2 years of him signing in America. And look at him now. You know what I mean? So I think there's a lot of grains of salt to take with, maybe scouts aren't the best at evaluating Japanese bats yet. And maybe that's, something that they get better at over the next couple of years. But for the time being, I think the big knock is that he's swinging and missing so much. Well, maybe we just got to give the Japanese pitchers more credit.
Well, and that's the thing is a lot of people also point to the fact that he doesn't have a large sample size with what they call major league velocity. I think that means like a fastball above 96. And when he has had interactions with it, he's not very good at hitting it. However, me personally, if you gave me the opportunity to drive a Formula One car, I don't think I'd be very good at it if you only let me drive it one day. But eventually, if you let me drive it over 10 years, now, I hope he's not trying to figure it out over 10 years. But if you let me drive it over 162 days, I maybe might be better at it than when I first started. Right. I think that's what a lot of people are pointing to.
If there's any F1 ownership groups that are listening to the Chatting Average, please do not allow John Lieber in your car. He will wreck it.
I will say that while I was looking for a job, I did eventually apply to a few different F1 teams, including the Cadillac team that is going to be building their cars in Indiana.
So what I've seen about, and this is not about F1. I'm sorry to derail a bit, but we are stopping the F1.
No. Why? Talk about the Singapore Grand Prix.
Because I actually did have something to say about Munetaka Murakami, which is that the thing about Murakami is that he has maybe over 80 grade power. This is someone who generates force. 56 home runs in 2022. That was the single season NPB record, breaking Sadaharu O's record, which that's the actual Japanese Babe Ruth. I mean, that dude mashed. 318 batting average, 134 RBIs as a lefty hitter. That was insane. And he's also at a low 70s in-zone contact rate with the Tokyo Yakult Swallows. That is about 12% under the MLB average. According to Jake Mintz's article on Yahoo Sports, 6 qualified big leaguers are under 80%, and only one of those 6 was under 75%. That was Rafael Devers. Murakami's strikeout rate over 3 seasons in NPB, 28.8%. That was the 4th highest in the league over that span. So if he's struggling against NPB pitching, you assume that there's a jump between NPB and MLB in pitcher quality. That is going to be your issue. Couple that with the fact that teams are scared off from the in-zone whiff, and teams are scared off because he doesn't necessarily have that defensive home that he had in Japan.
Yeah.
He kept coming over as a
that's a good
third
point.
baseman. And most teams expected him to move to first base or DH eventually, but some teams did see him as a passable third baseman for the time. But he's not exactly the most nimble over there at the hot corner. The Sox can afford to put him over at first base and let him play there for his tenure in pinstripes.
Yeah, I think they will play him at first because Miguel Vargas is still on the team.
Right.
However, they like using, if they're going to start Kyle Teal, they're going to put Edgar Cuero at first base. And I think that he's going to just be moving around until they can figure out where he's going to work best. I don't think they want to use him in the DH slot the whole time, although the DH spot is completely open for the Sox. The same thing works there. If Kyle Teal's behind the plate, Edgar Cuero could be the DH. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. And I mean, free agency isn't done. I don't expect the Sox to do much more, honestly. But
I don't know. I mean, even just looking at the holes that the White Sox have, I mean, moving forward, I would like to see them probably add another outfielder, I would say.
Yeah.
The pitching staff, don't even get me started on. But I could see there being more moves in the can for the White Sox. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll probably do like a cleanup job, basically, based on what other teams grab. Grab a few extra pitchers at the end of the cycle and stuff like that. Like the bullpen, I don't hate the bullpen currently. But like at the same time, like I know all of these guys and I know what they could be, and like my brain is at this point in the year going, well, if they all perform to where I think they should be at as an MLB player, it won't be a bad bullpen. Unfortunately, that's not how baseball works, right? But there are guys in that bullpen that are very fun. Brandon Eisert is fun. Grant Taylor is awesome. Mike Vassell is an underrated guy in the bullpen. I don't know. The Sox have a lot to do, obviously. It's not like they're going to be. They signed Murakami. They're not World Series favorites.
Right.
They're not even playoff favorites.
Right.
But they're obviously trending up based on 2 years ago to last year to this coming year and actually spending money in the offseason. So it'll be interesting to see what comes next. Do we want to get moving on into actual free agency? A look at free agency.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of teams that are trending up and making some off-season deals, I know there's another co-host of the show whose team added some players since the last time we
Yeah. The Braves have been active. The Bars have been active. They signed James Karinchak to a minor league deal with a spring training invite. Which
remember when he announced that he was going to donate like his salary for every strikeout to like the local police organization when he was in Cleveland, and then he like missed the entire rest of the season.
Yeah, so
it was
Now that's
called praxis.
That sentence did start as a joke, but like James Karinchak could end up being a contributor in like middle relief at some point because that's just how the nature of the bullpen works. But in all seriousness, the Braves have been pretty active, which is surprising to me.
You want me to give you a rundown?
Yeah, give me a rundown real quick.
Okay, notable free agents that are still on the market from the Braves are Pierce Johnson, Tyler Kinley, Marcelo Zuna, Connor Siebold, and Carson Ragsdale. The only two guys that are no longer with the team for sure are Alek Manoah and Nick Allen. R.I.P. Alek Manoah's reset in Atlanta. They have acquired in the offseason Robert Suarez on a 3-year deal. They re-signed Hassan Kim. They got Mike Yastrzemski on a 2-year deal. They re-signed Yasiel Iglesias. They traded for Mauricio Dubon. They traded for Ryan Rollison from the Rockies. They re-signed Joel Payamps, and they signed Danny Young and Ian Hamilton.
Yeah, these are some really fascinating moves for me. I don't know if we've talked about Mauricio Dubon yet.
I don't think so.
This is, at first it was, okay, is he going to have to play shortstop full time? Because, he's a he's a slightly below average hitter and a passable to even good defender at pretty much every position besides catcher. You know, he could play pretty much wherever they need him to. However, by re-signing Ha-Seong Kim, you have your everyday Gold Glove shortstop coming to his first fully healthy season in a couple years now, and someone who I think will take a step forward, and that the Braves don't really need him for the bat. This is a Gold Glove. They got along better than expected with Nick Allen, who was a minus hitter and a
I was surprised that he
platinum glove
stuck, in the starting lineup for the entirety of the season. It tells you how bullish they were on his glove,
Right. And he really did perform that well with the glove. Ha-Seong Kim has that caliber of glove at his best and can prove to be at least an average hitter.
I was going to say, I think
offensively, which is even arguably a bigger issue for the Braves over the last year.
Right.
I think what is important for Ha-Seong Kim is just getting back to a full season. In 22 and 23, played 150 and 152 games respectively, and he was over 100 in OPS plus. So, not by a lot, 105, 107. But, if he can be that in the back end of the Braves lineup in the 6 or the 7 hole, John, it wasn't on purpose. Shut up. I think
we're going to get over this era of the chatting average? Are we ever going to move past that as a joke? Or are we just going to be stuck
I didn't say
anything.
anything.
Forever?
I did not say a thing. I said nothing.
Okay.
I'm mooning it.
Now,
not anymore. You aren't.
So, Ha-Seong Kim is projected even 100 WRC plus on his Fangraphs projection, which, hey, a completely average hitter I'm fine with. In that position, a completely average hitter is... What are you doing first down?
Go ahead.
Why? What do you just keep going?
Keep talking.
So, all right, Mike Yastrzemski is one that I was confused about. I was confused about for a second too, until I kind of see that.
I love it.
He slugged 500. Increases barrel rate.
He slugged up on a Tuesday.
Dropped some swing and strike rate. Hit more homers in Kansas City than in San Francisco.
He had a sneaky career last year.
He was great in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm. Which, for what it's worth, leaving San Francisco tends to help your offensive numbers. I'll just go ahead and throw that out there. Leaving one of the best pitcher environments in the sport, tends to help your offense. But I think the changes that Yastrzemski made over the last offseason, I think, what you mentioned with the strikeout rate and the barrel rate and all that kind of stuff, seems to be a much more sustainable type of change and not necessarily just a ballpark jump. I think Yastrzemski is somebody that could have another big season.
Right. I think you go.
I agree. I've always liked Yastrzemski, though. That's my issue. And I don't know if it was just because, he was just fun as heck in San Francisco and, his first 3 years.
For yourself, brother.
What, you didn't enjoy it?
Fun to play against him, man.
Well, luckily he's no longer in the NL West for you. However, in every year that he played baseball for San Francisco, your team did not matter once.
That is not fully accurate.
His rookie year is 2019.
They were in play for a postseason spot until the last day of 2020, sir.
I broke my popper.
So the way I see it is that Yastrzemski will prove to be honestly more of an everyday player than some people might think.
Agree.
I
completely.
Jurickson Profar is a
steroid user.
not a great watch in the outfield defensively, to be perfectly honest with you. He can play there, but
He's not a great watch offensively either most nights.
Yeah, he's not really. So when you see Profar
Start using the
and
steroids.
Yastrzemski, I can see honestly splitting time in left field. I could see Yastrzemski even getting some spot starts in right field if Acuna has to go DH. But you also don't want to take too much time in that.
Timeline to be back, by the way? Is he supposed to be healthy?
He should be fully healthy. He should be fully healthy.
Yeah, he should. I think he's technically he's projected to be a day one starter.
Yeah, that's I haven't heard anything to the contrary.
Yeah,
Sean Murphy is not, which does become the issue. Is that Jarek Baldwin's going to see more time behind the dish, which is not a concern with a Rookie of the Year. But when Murphy comes back, him and Baldwin are going to be splitting time at DH, which ends up becoming a bit of a crunch when if Profar has to take over DH, then Yastrzemski might have to be a fourth outfielder and a little bit of a roster cascade. It's a good problem to have because the Braves season was honestly torpedoed by the fact they didn't have anyone like that last year. Because when you had to push out an underbaked Nacho Alvarez at third base and you had to put Brett Wisely at second base, it's not a real recipe for success. I'll kind of blitz through the rest of these really quickly. Joel Payamps and Ian Hamilton, I think, are really good value adds. Payamps especially in the bullpen. I would be fine with that being, honestly, the only bullpen move they had to make because you bring in Robert Suarez as well. Robert Suarez, fastballs galore, bound for probably a little bit of regression. He's 34. He doesn't really have any other pitches besides fastballs. But if that's your setup guy behind Raisel Iglesias, I would be perfectly content with that if I was a bullpen coach. So a remarkably active offseason for a team that has been really content to rest on their laurels in years past.
Speaking of resting on your laurels.
Nice. Really quick. Speaking of the Braves, one final thought on that is I think some of their front office moves kind of tend to match the tenor of their offseason as far as player personnel goes as well. I mean, getting rid of Snitker and I think was maybe a first sign that the status quo was no longer working in Atlanta. I think the player moves they've made have followed that trend. If the Braves have recognized that this current core isn't going to be their winning core, good for them. I think it's about time that they realize that, and hopefully there's more moves to come this offseason because this is a franchise that really could, stand to take advantage of a very weakening division.
All right. Let's run through the rest of the NL East. The East. Hang on. Okay, the Marlins. They acquired Christopher Morel and lost Joey Wiemer. Unmoved. Correct?
Christopher Morel, budget buy at first base. Fascinating. They're finally trying to find a home for him defensively at his first base.
Yeah, I was a little interested by that too. We'll see.
That's going to be a running theme.
Call me pessimistic.
Okay, pessimistic. Let's move on to the Mets. The Mets lost literally a 9-man team, plus a few pitchers in free agency already. Pete Alonso, Edwin Diaz, Brandon Nimmo, Jeff McNeil was traded earlier today. Tyler Rogers, Cedric Mullins, Ryan Hesley, Gregory Soto, and Danny Young all gone. They did acquire, though, Marcus Semien, Devin Williams, Jorge Polanco, Luke Weaver, and everybody's favorite Dick Lovelady. They still have a bunch of free agents that played for them last year. Everybody's favorite non-tender draft guy, Griffin Canning. Other than that, I don't care. Ryan Stanek, who's a starter now, I guess.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know how I feel about that.
Ryan Stanek has always been the, meet Fangraphs man, meet Baseball Reference Bubbles man. Like, he's always going to be, look better on paper than he actually does play. So, I don't...
Back in my day, we used to call them Statcast darlings.
So, I have no
Adam
idea
was
how
born
that's
in
going to convert.
1963.
Statcast was not invented until I was 47.
Are we good on the Mets? My expectation for the Mets, and we'll talk about this as we get closer to the actual season, is let's try it this way until
Let's try it.
until the trade deadline, and then we'll trade everyone and try it a different way.
When it's not
That's who the
working
Mets
when it's not working in May for the 8th consecutive year for the Mets, they're going to have to rebuild at the deadline like they always do.
when they lose their first two series, the Pirates and the Marlins. All right, the Nationals. Dude, I don't care.
There's no way we're going through every single team and talking about like.
All right, cool.
Isn't that what our end of preseason projections are for?
I just couldn't find a like tracker for moves without it being like Billy Bob Thornton was non-tendered today by the Washington Nationals.
I mean, I think the most natural thing to talk about, just because it's kind of the most recent big news. I mean, there's been two trades that have gone down over the last 2 days. One of them being Jeff McNeil leaving the Mets, going to the A's. The other one being
Rob
Wilson
Refsnyder.
Contreras. Nope, that's not right. Wilson Contreras going from the Cardinals to the Red Sox. I think we could probably both touch on both of those.
All right, fine. Let's talk about Wilson Contreras.
I really don't want to talk about Wilson Contreras, dude. How many years does this guy have left in his career? It can't be more than like 2 or 3.
You know,
2, 3.
what's so crazy is like this dude was supposed to be like awesome, and he was. He's really not bad. I think you're just mad you have to keep watching him play baseball.
He was brought in.
He struck out 142 times this year. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's as good as you think he is. He was brought in to be like the answer for Yadier Molina retiring in St. Louis, right? He was the promised replacement, and he was supposed to be good. And then after a month, they said, "Oh, actually, you can't catch. Let's try first base." And then a year and a half later, they said, "Hey, get the fuck out of St. Louis." So clearly, that did not work.
Respectfully, they literally got him and went, you're going to replace Yadi. And then ran it back with the same freaking pitching staff. And within a month, they said, God, this guy doesn't look like Yadi.
Put him in left field, was like, quickly.
The pitching staff was like,
to take all of Jordan Walker's playing time, and we need it now.
But like, like in 2023, like the pitching staff was like, well, I don't know, we don't really like him. And it was like, yeah, because half of you have been throwing the best catcher to ever grace a baseball field for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Like literally, it is literally Nick Saban getting replaced. Whoever comes in for Nick Saban is never going to be as good as Nick Saban.
It's the worst job you can have, being the guy after the guy.
I want to temper
John was the guy after Adam.
Tempers.
It's true.
If you I know
temper these tempers.
The big word if you look
Justin Herbert.
If you look at his Baseball Savant page, he plays.
This is always a dangerous game to play, by the way.
He played surprisingly well at first base. A +6 ounce above average, good for 91st percentile fielding at first, 87th ex-WOBA. He is above average in every stat except for squaring it up, chasing, whiffing, striking out, and walking, which is he's good for a 71st percentile batting value, a 77th percentile fielding value, and of course he's a below average runner because he always was. He plays a very good defensive first base.
He does.
And was honestly a 791 OPS hitter, which in that lineup where you had to really scrap for Romy Gonzalez and Abraham Toro and didn't have a ton of consistent contribution from first base, he is honestly a pretty good person to put there while you let Tristan Casas get his feet under him. I fully expect Tristan Casas to stay in AAA for a decent amount of time next year when he comes back from injury.
And what's Tristan Casas' brother's name?
What is Tristan Casas' brother's name?
I can't remember. But do you remember when we were yelling at that man?
Yeah.
I told him he'd never be as good as his brother, and I think I was right. Listen here. Just don't have him catch. And the Red Sox, they don't need a catcher. Am I wrong about that? I'm just trying to remember.
I think what you're going to see is he might get a few games, or he might get like 1 or 2 games a month at catcher, if anything. He was not announced as a catcher. He was announced as a first baseman. I fully expect him to get most of his playing time at first base, mostly because, you have Carlos Narvaez and Connor Wong.
Yeah, and if this was my team loaded into MLB The Show 2025, that man would not catch a game for me unless Narvaez or Wong went down with an injury. I need a first baseman. He's my first baseman. I need a DH. He's going to be my DH when Jarren Duran plays a different position.
Duran could be moved later this offseason, by the way. Don't rule that out.
Correct.
Yeah, which, I kind of expect him to, or at least I would if I was in that front office. But,
Tristan Casas' brother, Gavin Casas, by the way, and he has not played baseball since 2024, in case you were interested.
Gavin.
I think that's the year I told him he would never be better than his brother.
He was a fifth-year senior at that point after transferring from Vanderbilt as a freshman.
Yeah, right. Okay. I'm starting to remember why I said it.
Just mean to Gavin for no reason.
No, there was a reason, and the reason was that he was wearing the wrong colored jersey on the day that he decided to go to Taylor Stadium.
But 2024...
This is not turning into a 2024 South Carolina Gamecocks baseball podcast.
No.
Happen.
Okay, here's what I was going to say. In 2024, Tristan Casas was also a very good baseball player. So
that is true. That's a good point.
I wasn't reaching. He wasn't having a good weekend against the Mizzou pitching staff, which is they walked down to Rockbridge and asked a few guys to throw. I feel like I was right.
For those of you wondering, Rockbridge is a local high school in Columbia.
Nah, everybody knows that.
If you had said everybody would have known it.
Tristan Casas considered a potential MLB pick in 2023, but chose to return for his senior year. And then ultimately deciding to start his pro career after the 2024 season, he entered the draft pool and didn't get drafted. But the MLB draft is fucking 97 rounds long. Dude,
to be fair, at that point it was only 20 rounds, but when you and I were growing up, the MLB draft was 40 rounds, and
dude,
who's getting picked in round 37? Who is getting picked in round 37?
Guys, I played baseball with. Dude, my co-host on my high school radio show got drafted.
Absolute.
He never played baseball.
Sounds about right.
If I got drafted, I would sign. Honestly.
Vietnam it is.
No. That's not what I meant.
But, dude, I don't know how this is turned into an early 2000s draft conversation. But how do I know 5 people who have been drafted to the MLB?
Yeah, the draft is too big, dude. It used to.
Why are
big.
3 of their names?
He doesn't remember.
It doesn't seem like he knows these people very well. I'm gonna be completely.
He used to be the pitcher on the Guardians, and then he was on the Angels. He's got a lot of tattoos.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
The chatting average once learned that he was working out next to me.
Yeah. He got in
Zach.
trouble for breaking
Zach.
COVID protocols in 2020, and then in his
Yes.
apology video was driving his pickup truck while he recorded it and not wearing a seatbelt.
I still can't. What is his name?
I'm not telling
Two-syllable
you.
last name.
Oh, his dad's on, or his cousin, or his uncle's on MLB TV. Used to
You're
be
explaining
MLB
so
today.
much about him.
Just say the last name.
Come on, man.
Oh my god, dude.
Well, how do you
Oh, my
spell his
Lord.
first name? Because it's not even. He's not even showing up on Baseball Reference, bro. Oh, please, Zach.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations, John.
All right. The Jeff.
Let's
like.
go to the grid.
All right.
Let's just get this over with.
Just get this over with.
Do we want to talk Jeff McNeil first? No. Okay.
I mean, I don't know what it does for the A's.
I don't know what it does for either team.
I don't know what it does for the A's. What it does for the Mets is clear up a roster spot for
Someone.
I don't know
Marcus Simeon.
whoever's cheap and not signed, whichever Boris client isn't signed in first week of February.
Pete Alonso,
Doesn't-
enjoy Utah
doesn't it-
Street.
Doesn't it also like clear up? Oh no, I guess he hasn't been playing.
No, you'll
Anyways,
get there, John.
huh?
You keep
Okay, the
mumbling to
Immaculate
yourself. You'll
Grid.
figure it. All right. It's a 3x3 grid with 3 rows and 3 columns, which means there's 9 intersections, which means that you, yes, you, dear viewer, are going to get spoiled on every single one of these picks. If you are trying to do it,
No.
pause. Pause if
This
you're
episode-
not worried about it. But
This
we're
episode
recording
is
this
being
at a-
recorded.
yeah.
This episode is being recorded on Christmas Day.
No, it's not. It's being
is not-
recorded on December 22nd. You're going to see this December 23rd because it's 11:03 Eastern, and
But if you
I'm
get
not
to
gonna
post
get
it
that
early-
done.
Let it be known that it's David Campbell's fault that we're recording this late. Just putting it out there. Just putting it out there.
Okay. The teams today. The row
It's-
1, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Row 2, the Twins.
You didn't know what logo that was?
No, I do know that it's the Twins. What is the C for? Twin Cities?
Twin Cities.
Oh my god.
I hate
dude.
that. I
There's
hate that so much.
I can't believe you just asked that question, dude.
You can't spell twins without wins. Sometimes they're just the T's. Row 3 is the Boston Red Sox. Column 1 is the Cleveland Guardians. Column 2 is Philadelphia. Column 3 is played outfield a minimum of 1 game. I've got a twin Philly. It's Trevor Plouffe.
Like it.
2%.
I've got a pirate Philly.
Yeah. Josh Harrison.
Neftali Feliz.
Let's go with that guy. Point
I
1.
have.
Feliz Navidad, if you will.
Yes. Put Meli Kaliki Maka.
I think
have
that's the thing to say.
Guardians.
That's
Red
Hawaii. Okay.
Christian Arroyo.
Ooh.
Point 2.
I have a twin.
You
that
do?
is just a
Wait.
that's just a true
We
sentence.
know.
That's just a
I
fact,
know
actually.
this.
That is just a
Yeah.
sentence. That could just stand on its own. I have a twin Philly.
Okay.
Kyle Garlick.
We don't need a twin Philly.
I know. I just wanted to say his
He
name.
just wanted to say Kyle Garlick.
Kyle Garlick.
Does Kyle Garlick work for any of the others
No, I don't think so. Actually.
in his
I-
5 years of baseball time?
What else
I
do we?
Warriors.
perhaps have a Phillies Red Sox question mark.
Okay. Yeah.
Clay Buchholz.
0.7.
Hey.
Hey, 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 hey.
Hey.
I have a outfielder for
Me too.
Twins.
Okay.
Give me Carson McCusker.
From McCusker's Last Stand.
Nice.
0.1. Hey, 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 hey. We could go with 2024's the Chatties LVP for Pittsburgh outfielder.
I have a
Pittsburgh outfielder.
Okay, go.
Billy Cook.
Friend of
Adam?
the program, Jose Bautista.
Well, Jose Bautista must be used.
Yeah, that's true.
Which one is Jose Bautista?
The one that
Probably the guy who
recently.
Yeah.
0.3. Joey Bats, baby. Can you type in like player nicknames?
I have no idea, to be honest with you.
I have a Red Sox outfielder.
Please.
So do I. Go ahead.
Connor Wong.
Okay, cool.
Left
How many
fielder
spots
Connor
do we have
Wong.
left? Question mark.
We need the Pirates and the Twins for the Cleveland team. Team that plays in Cleveland. Prior to 2022, they were the Indians. Prior to 1915, they were the Naps. Prior to 1906, they were the Napoleons.
Is that actually true?
Yes, and prior to 1903, they were the Blues, and prior to 1902, for one season, they were Cleveland.
Yeah.
Cleveland.
The Cleveland show. So remind me what we need.
Jesus
I kind
Christ.
of zoned out.
Pirates, Cleveland, Twins, Cleveland.
Pirates.
I got a Pirates Guardian.
Okay.
Yu Chang.
Ooh.
Love Yu Chang. And he actually is a Pirates Guardian. He only played for the Guardians while they were the Guardians.
That is true.
All right, I have a
Hashtag
Twins.
Chang gang.
I have a Twins Guardian.
I'd hope so. That's what we need.
Jordan Luplow.
Oh yeah.
Jordan Mailata.
No, not him.
Braves legend Jordan Luplow.
Rarity score of
Legend Jordan Mailata.
4. Rarity score of 4. That has been the chatting average presented to you by Capital One.
Don't forget
Actually,
to practice the spirit of Christmas by going to your local Hallmark store today.
And
Ho, ho.
if you want to follow us on Twitter, it's the Chatting AVG. If you want to follow us on YouTube, it's the Chatting Average. If you want to find us on any of the podcast apps, it's the Chatting Average. If you want to find Adam, it's King Bust 5
On everything, actually.
on everything. If you want to find John, it's JD_Sansoni. The D stands for Dala. And if you want to find me, it's John Lever Media. If you want to find the MLB, it's at MLB. If you want to find
If you want to find Santa, you can do that on the NORAD Santa tracker.
yeah, where are you at right now?
Ho, ho, ho.
Probably with H at Santa's Workshop.
Yeah.
Guys, is
He's
it
over there.
before we end the show, I'd like to ask our live studio audience, is it weird that as a 23-year-old man, after I'm done working on Christmas Eve, I will be coming home to drink hot chocolate, watch a Christmas movie, and have the NORAD Santa tracker pulled up on my laptop?
I don't think that's weird at all.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Oh my God, I can see John in the Santa's Workshop at the North Pole here.
Thanks
Goodbye.
for listening.
Bye.